I believe that when a man is aware, he simply knows. Oh, yes, indeed. Nevertheless, you still need to take action, particularly at 43, after a previous marriage that seems new, and after having kids. You must be careful not to simply file for divorce. However, I'm still working on getting over it. Do you understand what I mean? Because she reminds me every day that I have 4 children. Are you still unable to move? I'm not stuck, no. Not only am I not considering you contemplate it daily. Bro, that's stuck. It's more like I keep recommending that you attend therapy and working with different individuals to help you move through that counseling because you don't understand yourself, which is why you're still stuck. Bro, I consider myself fortunate to even have her on my side. Martell Holt joined Arionne Curry as she went live, as was to be expected. All of the children were with the 2 of them, and it appeared that they were enjoying themselves while playing outside and having a typical day. Arionne started discussing her life, her schooling, and her future goals. She revealed some private information while the children were in the background, which immediately attracted notice, especially since Martell kept snooping about. According to Arionne, she has been focusing on her education. She claimed to have graduated from Alabama in 2013 with a bachelor's degree in biology. Her first degree equipped her with the knowledge and abilities she needed to continue her education. She claims that she is currently enrolled in a 2-year nursing school. She explained the program's operation to me. Nursing students can sit for the LPN licensing exam after 3 semesters. They can fulfill the prerequisites to sit for the RN licensing exam after 2 more semesters. Arionne clarified that she had completed 3 semesters already. This indicates that she is awaiting the following steps and preparing for her LPN exam. She was pleased with this accomplishment since it demonstrates that she is improving and heading in the right route for the future. She stated that she was awaiting word from the Alabama Board of Nursing in order to obtain authorization to take the exam. This indicates that she is nearly prepared to formally announce the situation. For Arionne, it was a proud occasion. However, whenever she speaks in public, people constantly have questions, comments, and even criticism. She doesn't have a job and she even doesn't have a car, according to someone who commented during the live show. It would have been simple to disregard that assertion, but Martell raised his voice and responded. According to him, Arionne hasn't had a job for 4 years. They are now able to communicate even more because of this. Martell continued by saying that she hadn't worked for roughly 5 years, with the exception of a brief stint of 1.5 months in the summer before beginning nursing school. Arionne didn't offer Martell a direct response when he inquired whether he wanted her to find employment. He initially told her no, but he later explained why. He claimed that she only earned roughly $140 or $15 per hour while she worked. She shouldn't have to work for that little money, he claimed. Martell stated that she would need to earn at least $50 to $60 per hour if she planned to work. If not, he didn't think it was worth it. Additionally, he stated that he didn't want her to work nights as she had children at home, and he believed that her primary responsibility should be raising them. The discussion went on for even longer after that remark. Many nurses want to work overnight because they earn more money that way, Arionne informed him. She said that she could work at night while the children slept and still be available in the morning to look after them, drop them off at school, and attend to their everyday requirements, Martell insisted. However, that he didn't want her to do that. She should only work if it makes financial sense for her to do so, which meant she should only work if she was earning a lot of money, he made plain. The topic of conversation shifted at this point. Then, in an arbitrary manner, Martell began discussing nurses. He claimed to have heard far too many tales about dishonest nurses. He went so far as to claim that nurses have a reputation for cheating. This comment confused others since it felt unjust and out of place. Arionne dismissed it with a laugh, but the conversation quickly brought up Martell's past. He was accused of cheating, which made his statements seem hypocritical. In self-defense, Martell went on to claim that he hadn't cheated in 6 years. The live presentation alternated between serious discussions and humorous exchanges. Martell even asked Arionne if she believed he was the greatest at one point. He wanted her to convey to all onlookers that he was a decent man. Although Arionne claimed to believe he was the prize, it was obvious that she was attempting to maintain a civil discourse rather than argue with him in front of the audience. Martell persisted in inquiring about his greatest qualities. She gave him a generic response even though he asked her to provide a list of reasons. She claimed that he had everything she desired and that he was kind to her. She did not elaborate. She instead emphasized the idea that they don't have to tell others what they have. She reiterated to him that online users would never understand their situation or concur with their decisions. She expressed her happiness at Martell's assistance with money, schoolwork, and other necessities. She didn't feel the need to explain it to anyone because it was plenty for her. It was nevertheless evident that there was tension. At times, Martell's tone came out as defensive, particularly when he was criticized by commenters. Arionne was advised by several to see a doctor rather than remain with Martell. He abruptly interrupted that remark, stating that he earns more than many physicians. By claiming that he is already a decent man and provides for Arionne's requirements, he attempted to make himself appear like a better option than any doctor. Karma was mentioned later. Arionne thoughtfully raised the point, but Martell shot it down right away. He claimed that karma didn't exist and supported his assertion with extreme examples. He asserted that certain groups of people would no longer exist as a result of previous events if karma were real. In response, Arionne stated that they had witnessed karma in their own life, and that she believes in it. Martell, however, insisted that what people refer to as karma is simply life's ups and downs. However, the interaction between Arionne and Martell was the most fascinating aspect of the live performance. They appeared to be moving back and forth in a manner that indicated their closeness, but also their issues. On the one hand, Martell advised her not to work until it was advantageous for her to do so. However, he also expressed his desire for her to work. He continued to discuss how little she used to earn in comparison to what he anticipates she will today. The issue of not having a job or a car persisted. Arionne didn't actually reply to the remark on her lack of a car, but Martell's hasty defense of her indicates that he was aware that others would criticize her circumstances. The conversation also revealed how much money she requires from him. During her time in school, Martell appears to use the fact that she lacks her own funds. Being constantly reminded of Martell's public persona was another aspect of the deceit. He was quick to refute or minimize criticism of his previous behavior, including cheating. He wanted to portray himself as the winner, the man who does everything and earns more than most. To preserve the peace, Arionne agreed with his remarks, but it was obvious that she wanted to discuss her academic achievements and her plans to become a nurse. After all these years, Martell still hasn't proposed to Arionne, according to some spectators watching the live performance. Despite her support and the fact that they had children together, he hasn't moved on. One viewer even speculated that he might be holding off on popping the question until she obtains her own nursing license and becomes a licensed professional. She would then have greater freedom and a genuine contribution to make to the partnership. However, the answer to the engagement question is still unknown. Adrienne made an effort to remain cheerful and lighthearted throughout the live stream. She discussed her hair, her everyday activities, and other trivial subjects in between the more important ones. She made it apparent that, despite the fact that circumstances aren't ideal for her, she wanted to demonstrate that she is content and focused. She emphasized that Martell is supporting her academically and that she is pursuing a nursing degree, which will benefit her in the long run. The irony, of course, is that only a few weeks prior, Ariana and Martell were exclusively disparaging Melody. They attempted to get engaged in her business and discussed her, but as this live program demonstrated, they currently have a lot of work to do at home. They still have issues to resolve, as evidenced by their remarks regarding their need on Martell, lack of a job, and car. People ultimately experienced varied emotions as a result of the live performance. Arionne's efforts to improve her circumstances and obtain an education caused some viewers to feel sorry for her. Some said that the circumstances demonstrated that she had become overly dependent on Martell and that he was in charge of the narrative. The most obvious characteristics of Martell were his insistence on being referred to as the prize and his refusal to discuss his prior actions. What will happen next is unclear. Will Arionne complete her coursework, pass her exams, and land a job? Is Martell going to allow her to work? Or will he continue to dictate to her what she is and is not capable of? After